Rewiring and relighting your trailer can get pretty expensive in a hurry. But in this video, we're gonna rewire and relight this trailer for under 60 bucks. Hey, I'm Robert. Welcome to Boneyard Revivals. All right, as y'all might have been wondering, what are we gonna do for a light system on this trailer? This trailer has been beat and abused back in the day. I mean, this light's literally ready to fall off. So we need to get a light kit for it. So I went ahead and did that. I picked this one up for like 25 bucks. So we're gonna install this bad boy. And I thought it was a decent budget option. We have our tail lights here. And then it sends you the whole wiring harness, which is a 4-prong deal, which that's gonna kind of be an issue at some point. Most of the trailer with all the lights will be ran off of this new harness. It's a 4-prong plug. I know what you're thinking. If we're gonna have trailer brakes, you can't use the 4-prong. For now, to make it a functional trailer with lights, I am going to keep this around for right now. We'll run that all the way up to the front. Taking a look at our light here, it's got the mount back here with the 2 wires. What I really like about this light, and the reason why I bought it, was because not only is it, you know, the tail light, but it's also a running light. The only issue we're going to have though is with this being angled like this, these unfortunately are not just going to go on there nice and easy. All right, we got this old one off here. she was done. Worst part is the new one actually fits in the holes, but the light itself is too tall and I don't want to have them pointing at the ground. But the fact that the holes are still there and all that will work, basically that just means I need to make the little bit of extra room there. Wow, I actually managed to get them to fit. What I ended up doing was I elongated the slot holes there and they fit in. They don't point up as perfectly as I want them to, but for right now that saves me having to cut that out. So I feel better about that. What I'm doing now here is figuring out how I'm going to route my wires here. There's a hole back here, so I'll tuck them back in here for now. And then I'm unraveling the old wiring here. And yeah, someone did the old twist them together. Look how corroded that is. We're actually going to take time. We'll actually solder our wires with our new wiring harness here just to be, you know, a little better, keep some of the moisture out, and then, you know, you're not wondering why out of nowhere lights stop working here. Well, I'm just confirming that we work here. I threw the old battery up on the deck of the trailer, ran some wires. We got some tail lights, buddy. Heck yeah. I wanted to rerun this. This will run all of our lights back here. When our marker lights come in, I'll do the 2 back here, and then we'll figure out how we splice out for getting everything tied in up there, and kind of run everything off of this. And then what I'll end up coming back and doing at some point is I'll actually come back and probably either cut this off or figure something out so I can wire in a 7-way plug. All right, so we're gonna be getting ready to solder these up here. So I'm just slipping on our shrink wrap now. Something that you want to remember to do is the shrink wrap is gonna help keep all the moisture out after it's soldered so it won't corrode and then eventually stop working. If you're gonna solder them, I recommend putting those on. And then confirming with our paperwork here, the green wire for the trailing harness, which you can't see it, it's down tucked here in the trailer, is gonna go to, on the back of our light here, the yellow. So the green and yellow are gonna go together. We're gonna be doing our turn signal one here first. Will really help here. So then we'll get our tip. We'll get our tip on that wire. And we'll see if it's hot enough to start melting it. Yeah. But yeah, that should be a pretty firm, strong connection there. I'll pull out my shrink wrap tubing here. And we'll get that slid over that bare wire and get it out past enough. And then we'll pull the lighter back out here and we'll shrink it. Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right, now that we got some taillights on, it's time to talk about some marker lights. The kit that I bought was from Amazon. They literally send you 20 different lights. They send you 10 amber ones and 10 red ones. I don't plan on using every single one of them, but I do plan on utilizing a bunch of them. This is a cheap kit from Amazon. I don't know, I think I paid like 12 bucks for it or something. All the stuff as far as the lights, at least the marker lights and this kit came from Amazon. The tail lights did not. I found those at a local hardware store that were pretty cheap. All the stuff that I bought off of Amazon, I'll leave links for those right down in the description for you guys, just so it's easier if you guys are like, hey, I could use that on my trailer. or you like the LED lights for another project, I'll leave them all down in the description so you guys already got them. These are really tiny, but they're LEDs, so they're super bright. I want to light this trailer up like it ain't nobody's business. If there's anything that I've learned with towing a bunch of different trailers, is visibility is always key. Thinking about putting 2 or 3 red ones right there. I think I'm gonna do an amber one here, another amber one right here on the front, and then we'll probably replace that one with an amber one, and then I might do another amber one either here or here. All right, first one is installed. What I really like about these fenders is that there's actually a channel in here, so all the wiring and stuff is gonna be nice in and tucked away, which I really dig. So now I got the first one figured out. I'll bring you back here and show you how I came up with my plan. So for centering them up, what I've been doing, it made more sense to me to center it with the actual like top side of the fender. So the top side of the fender is roughly 9 inches. So half of 9 inches is 4.5. So I'll make a mark at 4.5. So that is our half mark. And then to transfer that down, I'll take this square, and I'm going to trust that this is reasonably squared here. We'll get it lined up, and it won't be dead nuts exact, but give or take right there. And then I'll eyeball it, and if it clearly looks off, we'll make an adjustment, but that's the best way that I found just to do it somewhat accurately. So we'll run with that, and then basically I'll draw my line down, and then I'll find center of this, which this is 1 inch thick, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 inches. Yeah, it's 2 inches, so halfway down will be 1 inch. And then, so I'll run a line down there, and then I'll run a line across. That'll give me my crosshair, and then I'll take the light and asphyxiate it, but let me get my lines. All right, got our crosshair right now here. Now, since the wire is right in the center of the light, what I've been doing is drilling a center hole that's big enough to fit these wires, so the wires will go right through. And then based upon that, I can get it fit up, get it lined up, and then with the light attached, I'll take a small enough drill bit and go into the hole and just make a mark on where each screw goes in. And then based on that, I'll pull the light back out and then send these 2 holes in, get a bolt and a nut, and then bolt it, and we're done. So all of our marker lights that we want on the fender are on. We got 2 on this one, 2 on that one. Before I hopped in to hanging more marker lights up here, I wanted to come back here and look at our brake light situation. Did some rough math. Basically what I ended up doing was finding true center of the trailer. So I measured from that end to that end. It came up to like 83 inches. So half of that would be 41.5. Went ahead and already marked everything out. So there's true center, dead nuts of the trailer. So we're gonna have one of these red lights centered right there. And then I found how much distance we have in this space. I'm gonna be able to fit 3. They're all gonna be 1 inch apart. So there'll be one here, and then that third one will go there. So kind of pre-wired some stuff there, but the only issue that I did was I was going to wire them in as brake lights too. The brake and the turn signal are all on the same wire. So if I would have ran it to the brake lights, yes, those would have worked as brake lights, but then when I turned the right turn signal on, they would have blinked as well. And I really didn't want that. And the only way to do that is if I spliced a bunch more wires in and basically ran one off of both of them. And it kind of just, the way that it kind of worked out, it just wasn't going to make any sense. I have this thinner piece of angle here, and what I'm thinking is for these, we can cut sections of brackets that kind of hang down something like that, and then the light will go on right there. That, or maybe invert it so it doesn't hang as low. All right, so I'm gonna bring you in and show you exactly how I did this one, because I kind of went on my own and didn't film anything for that one. So talking about these brackets, again, I didn't do these in front of you, but basically the whole concept idea was to make something that can bolt to the bottom side of the trailer here, and then our marker light can mount to it. I ended up using that shorter end of the angle. Like I said before, I figured the bigger plate back here on the thicker part of the angle would be beneficial for just, you know, it being sturdy and it being attached well. All right, so all of our marker lights are on. Now we just got to go back and wire everything. So I was talking before about how these three tail lights, I intentionally ran all the wiring down the left-hand side of the trailer, and then I hopped them all over here. So that means we don't have any wiring to get these three on this side in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some of the extra wire that I have laying around and some of the good parts of the old harness. And basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run a jumper wire across each frame rail over to the other side. So there'll be one that goes across here, one that goes across here, and then another one that goes across there on that side. So I went around, pre-stripped everything. I already have our shrink tube already on our wires. This is gonna be the first one we're gonna do. I figured take care of the side where all the wires are gonna be the longest first. So I have this section of wire here that we're gonna run across, but I do wanna solder it right here to get things kicked off. So I already have it pre-wired up. I was realizing when we were doing the taillights, there was times where I had the camera, I was blocking your guys' view, and I apologize for that, but I'll get you in here now. So this isn't anything special. Honestly, I should probably get better solder, but this is just a Chicago Electric, I don't know if you call it a heat stick or whatever it's called, or solder tip, I guess you'd call it. And then I just have some regular basic Harbor Freight solder here. So basically what you want to do is, like I said previously when we were doing the taillights, get some heat into that wire, and then you're just going to melt your solder into it, pretty toasted up there. So, and then we're just going to want to coat it all, and basically what that's going to do is going to melt, and it's going to fuse all of those wires together. There we go. Now she's getting a little heat in her. Get our shrink tube slipped over it, take our lighter here, fill a light, and now we're just gonna melt that shrink wrap tube. You're gonna see it shrivel up around the wire. Also get all the air pockets out of it, and bam, there we go. That one is completely soldered. Now we just have to do that like 100 more times and we're ready to roll. Alrighty, it is reveal time. Ooh, look at that. Let's do a quick walk around. So being 100% honest, the taillights are fantastic. The three in the middle light it up nicely along with our other taillights. And the marker lights do their thing. The nice part is when I look down the mirror, I will be able to see them lit up. Like I was saying before, maybe I'll consider throwing another one somewhere in here. These little LEDs are pretty bright and they do a pretty fantastic job. I know one of the other things that we're probably gonna hear at some point is like, you're putting all these cheap wiring components and cheap lights and stuff like that on. Are you worried about the longevity of it? Yeah, but it's one of those things, we're gonna try it and see how it works. I wanna get this trailer completely functional, as minimally invested as possible. That way, you know, we can go out and make money with the trailer. If there's certain components that are junk because some of our connectors aren't that good or some of these lights burn out, well then so be it, and we'll upgrade down the road. But the whole point of this entire build series and every single one of these videos that you see is to put this thing together for as cheap as possible. So doing the math on the tail lights and the marker lights and my wiring kit and all that stuff, it comes out to be like 58 bucks for everything. So we're $1,158 into this trailer right now. So we still got a lot of room for a lot of budget to stay under that $2,000 threshold. So we're doing really, really good so far, but there's a lot of work to do. We finally have trailer lights. In the next video, we're going to be doing some D-ring attachments. We got to find out where we want to put them on the trailer. And we also have some cheap safety chains to install as well. So if you want to see the next video, make sure you're subscribed. If you haven't checked out the playlist and seen the other video when we first bought the trailer, I'll leave that linked right here and it'll be in the end screen. Remember to get out in the shop and start wrenching on your projects, because your dreams will not work unless you do. Speaking of projects, if you have something that you're working on, let me know down in the comment sections. I'd love to hear about it. But with that being said, we'll see you next time here on Boner Revivals. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.